Let's make an edible, beautiful planter for the front door for the autumn season. I am gloving up in my favorite bamboo gardener gloves. I've got some nice, pretty rich potting soil here. I just took out all the things that I killed this summer, and we're going to start fresh for the new season. I am using a rosemary. This is an ARP rosemary. So rosemary comes in different growth habits. ARP rosemary is going to be the variety that's going to grow straight up and down, which I love for a planter. They also have a creeping rosemary or a trailing rosemary. Those are wonderful for growing like on the edge of a bed, or if you had a really large planter and you wanted the rosemary to hang over the sides. I love those for that kind of planter. But for this one, we want it to be straight up and down because it's going to be like the centerpiece of the pot. So I'm just loosening the roots here, and I always do this where I honestly need the soil out of the planter, to begin, because you actually need some empty space to get this plant nice down and deep. And you definitely want to do that with this rosemary because it's a big plant. So you want to make sure it gets as deep as possible before you fill it up. Let's see. I'm going to run out of spaces to put this soil. And I don't want to lose the soil because it's good. Okay, so I'm trying to get myself a nice little hole here without being bothered by mosquitoes too much. And let's see if we can get it down in here. So I'm just making a pretty nice deep hole. And you really want the neck of the rosemary to be right on level with the soil. So this is good. Rosemary is a plant that's pretty easy to drown in a pot. Rosemary likes to stay dry. It doesn't like wet feet, is what they say. So you do want to make sure that it's going to have, it's not going to be like drowning low in the pot. All right, so we got this here in this pot. The next plant I'm going to add is some beautiful Swiss chard. This is a great green to add in to a fall planter. So I'm going to take this out of the container just like that. Separate it, and this is actually a lot of Swiss chard all together in one container. So I'm going to divide it probably into 2 parts. And so I'm going to lay this one right here. I'm going to use my deep trowel. This is great for getting deep into a pot, which is what you want to do when you're planting a lot of plants in one container. So this Swiss chard is going to get big, but that's okay. We like that. We want it to eventually fill in. And the great part about this is 100% edible, organic. So you're going to be able to just walk through your front door and grab a little something to eat on the way inside. Or if you have guests over, you can tell them, to cut their salad on the way in. So I'm pushing this pretty much to the edge of the planter. You can adjust their location once you get everything in. All right, so now that we got Swiss chard to either side, we've got some rosemary. Now I'm thinking about the front of the planter, and I'm going to do 2 flowers. I'm going to add some gomphrena. So this is an edible flower. I did have to double check. I can't say I've ever eaten it, but it's good to know it is edible. And again, we're going to use this long trowel. And you can see it's got these nice deep roots. So I'm just going to kind of smush that in there just like that. And then I'm not going to do it exactly symmetrical. We'll do another one back here in this corner with the other gomphrena. And if you're going to do containers in your front, I try to have them be the same on either side. So when you're shopping, be thinking like everything you're buying for one container, you want to make sure you got enough for the other. So I bought 4 gomphrena, and I meant to buy 4 dianthus, and somehow I walked out without it. So we're just going to work with what we got. All right, so now I've got the Swiss chard and the gomphrena. I think it's looking pretty good. All right, next up I have this really beautiful sage, and the sage is going to be a nice little just trailing over the front right there. So I'm going to take this out of the container and move it to the front of the garden. Just like this. So we're going to go up here. Dig a nice steep hole. I'm kind of doing this blindly now. All right, that's looking pretty good. Let me see, I'm going to turn this around. Double check my handiwork so that it actually looks good. All right, so this is looking pretty nice. Does need a little color here in the front. So I'm going to do, trying to decide if I want this marigold color. What do y'all think? Orange? Orange and purple? I don't know. I had another color planned at this dianthus, but I'm just going to go with what I have. Marigold is a great fall flower. It will hang on. It even can handle a light frost. It's definitely not frost resistant. Whoa. So this is a triple planted marigold, but I'm not sure it can handle being torn apart. So I am going to see if I can fit it in here. Yep, it fits. Okay, so that gives us a little color there at the front. Rosemary's getting battered around a little bit. Now we're going to go around to the back side, and we're going to do a tall plant. So this is going to be some dill. It's starting out very small, but it is eventually going to be large, and it'll be nice and tall. Add some little height behind the planter, which will be really fun. So again, I'm going to use my trowel, dig myself a hole. You want to kind of go away from the plant that you've just planted. You can see why I took out all that soil, right? Okay, take out a little bit more. Don't worry, we're almost done. So that dill looks great right there, and then we've got a little bit more space here in the back. So I can either go, I think what I'm going to do is do a one more marigold to give me a little bit more color in the back here. So we'll grab this one. Same idea. Going to use our trowel, push away from the dill. Probably going to get to the place here where I'm just taking the soil out. Give it to another plant. We don't have room, do we? Now these are all, besides the rosemary, they're all annuals and the sage. So this is just a one season kind of thing. So this is a case where you can totally smush it in because it's not going to be in here forever. All right, now that we've done that, I can either do chives or parsley or both. Let's see if we can cram it all in. I'm going to do some parsley now. This parsley is also going to, it's also going to get a little bit taller, and it also will drape over the side a little bit, which is fun. So I'll start with the parsley, and then if there's any room left, we will add the chives too and make this the most impossibly packed planter of all time. Sound like a good deal? All right, so all of this is 100% edible, 100% organic, and so bright and cheery. I just love all the color. To be honest, my front door planters have not looked great this summer. I am really always focused on my kitchen garden, so my front garden suffers quite a bit. So I'm excited to redo these, have some new growth in here. I might even come and add a couple little plant tags, something fun to let people know when they come in and see the planter that all this is edible and they can just take a little bite. So what do you think? Am I crazy for putting all these plants in here? I'm going to get this really well watered. We've got nice, as you can see, this the front door faces north. And so we get a lot of afternoon sun, so these are going to be nice and shaded, have a lot of time to adjust to this pot as the temperatures are still pretty warm here in August. So tell me what you think about my super duper packed edible planter. Now I got to go plant the other one. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch the rest of our videos. We've got so many ways to grow a beautiful and productive garden in your backyard, in your front yard, any place you want to. Thanks for being part of Gardenary. I'll see you next time.